Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I am very excited to make this particular video because this specific genre of YouTube video I've been consuming for the past couple years, and there's not a whole lot of them, so it's not like I've just been gobbling them up, but basically every 6 months or so I would see a new one of these videos. YouTube would recommend it to me and I would think, someday I will be able to make that exact specific title of video, and that day has arrived. Well, it arrived, geesh, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, or maybe even 4 weeks ago at this point. I've lost all track of time. That genre of video is how I got my literary agent. And so the majority of my viewers are used to me talking about things like video games and books that I like to read and stuff going on in my personal life, with the occasional update about my literary career. But not too many of them I think are going to be particularly interested in this video, so if you're not, no hard feelings, you don't have to watch this. Hello to all of you other viewers who are probably like I was a couple years ago, in the querying process, in those trenches, sending out queries day after day, and getting a whole bunch of rejections. This video is meant to give you hope, because I was where you were, and now I am where I am currently, so you can too, or something like that. Let's do a quick little fast forward through how I wrote my first 8 books before I got any kind of interest. That's self-deprecating, that's not quite exactly true, but my point is, a few years ago, I wrote an outline for a book that I thought I might want to write someday. I had for 2 decades, I think, not written basically anything because I just thought, I'm not a writer. I tried, sent out my first 3 chapters to the only real book that I wrote. It got rejected. Clearly I'm not a writer, right? So then I went ahead and put that whole dream on the back burner. And then 3 years ago, basically, I read this book that I really, really liked and saw the movie that the book was based on. I really, really liked it. But I had a few things where I was like, I would have written it differently. Even though I really loved the book, there were some things that I would have done a little differently. And then I kind of thought, I've got a lot of personal experience with this specific topic that this book is addressing, and I know other people who've had much more dramatic ups and downs with this particular topic. It was a coming out story, basically. And so I thought, you know what, I want to write that. So anyways, I kind of based it on my partner's life and my life, and a what if we had met back when we were young adults instead of ancient old men. I wrote that, the outline to that, put it on the back burner for a billion years, and then, actually 1 year, and then I went ahead and bought a new laptop a year later and started writing. And then the moment that I finished, I thought, this is perfect. And then I revised it and thought, oh, it wasn't so perfect. And then I revised it again and again and again. And then I finally got it to a point where I was like, I think the publishing world is ready for this. So I researched everything and found out how you had to go about securing a publishing contract, which is, you first have to have a literary agent. You can't just send your book to publishers. They don't want them. They don't know who you are. You have to get a literary agent first. But then it's a catch-22. How do you get a literary agent? They only want people who have a good track record of selling books. Well, the top-tier literary agents only want people who have a track record of selling books, and so it's a catch-22. Did all kinds of research, sent out a billion query letters, got some interest, got some partial asks and some full asks. But I had it pointed out to me, you know what, this book is technically not young adult, even though you think it is, because the character is 19 and young adult has to be 18 and under, and the character's moved out of home, and you have to have your young adult characters basically still be living in home, going to high school. So I was like, oh geez, I gotta rewrite this thing. So technically it was new adult, which is a genre that nobody really wants. So I needed to rewrite it as young adult. So I put that on the back burner, wrote my second book, started querying that, got some decent interest, but nothing substantial. Wrote my third book, which this time was a middle grade fantasy, and got a little more interest in that, but still didn't really go anywhere. Anyways, that's a whole other story. Wrote my fourth book, which is the one that got the offers. But before we get there, I got no interest, it seemed, for about a year. So during that time, I'm always writing. I wrote my 5th book, which was another middle grade fantasy. That one got 0 interest. Then I wrote my 6th book, which was another young adult contemporary LGBTQI romancy kind of thing. And that one I don't really remember because I had just started querying that when I had just finished writing my 7th. I skipped one in the middle there because it does not count because that's never going to see the light of day, and don't even ask about that one. But I was now writing my young adult sci-fi, and while I'm querying this other young adult contemporary thing, when out of nowhere I get an offer for book 4. So I'm now on book 8 and finally get an offer for book 4. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was from an agent who had a ton of experience, but though she had been working at one of those big name agencies, she had for 5 years or something like that. And before that, she had been an editor at a pretty big publisher. She was now doing her own thing and had, as far as I could tell, never sold young adults or middle grade, only basically romance and self-help. And I was like, she's really smart. We had the call and that was great. I really liked her energy. She seemed really cool. She seemed super smart and like somebody I would really like to work with, who I knew like all of this editing experience. She could really polish up my book and that would be great. But can she get it in the hands of the editors that I need her to get in the hands of? I want to shoot for the stars. I want Simon & Schuster, Random House, or Macmillan, whoever, I want the big top 5 to be looking at it. And it didn't look like she had those kind of connections. Now, I don't know. I should have asked that question maybe. I really should have asked that question, but I did not. I just was, during the call, it just seemed like, okay, this is fine, and I really liked her. But then I did the thing that you're supposed to do, which is you now contact all of your other agents that you've sent the query to that have not said no, or that the time, a lot of agents say, if you haven't heard from me in 3 months, it's a no. So basically anybody who it was still within the 3 months or whatever. And so I notified them of my offer, and then I got a whole bunch of interest. And that's the interesting thing, let me tell you, there's nothing like telling some top tier agents that you have an offer elsewhere to really get them to basically kiss your behind about wanting to get a full manuscript in their hands immediately. So anyways, I got a bunch of full requests at that point, and quite a few people who are like, oh, I really like your query, or I really like your sample pages, but there's no way in heck I'm going to be able to get back to you in 10 days, which is the time frame, the typical time frame you give them. So it's like, and one of them was like, I'll be honest with you, I probably would offer on this, but there's not a chance in heck. I have my daughter's wedding coming up. There's no way I'm going to be able to get back to you in the 10 days. And selfishly, I would like you to tell your offering agent no, and then give me a chance, but that would be foolish of you because I might not offer after all. I probably will, but I might not. So anyways, but then one other agent did reach out to me who was a definite offer, and we had the call, and I just fell in love with her is an exaggeration, but it was just our energy and our vibe was so like in sync. She like a couple of the things about my book she like really picked up on and really liked, and so anyways we shared those things, and it was just like, I don't know, just the energy. Like the first offer was like very professional, and like I trusted that she could get the job done as far as help me edit it. But the second one, a little less so with that skill set, but more so with I know she's got the connections, because even though she's brand new and fresh, she is at one of those big name agencies, and so she's got a mentor who has those connections, and her mentor, the guy who owns the company, is like overseeing her stuff. So anyways, I was really like, this is a hard one because they both have like a whole different set of pro and cons on each side. And there was also honestly still that tiny part of me that wanted to say no to both of them and let that other one get back to me, because she did have the connections and the experience, and she did seem to have the really long-term like editorial experience as well. So she had like the best of both worlds. But I was just like, I don't think I should risk it, because what if she says no and I said no to these two? So, and I just had such a good personal connection with the second one. Not that I didn't have a good connection with the first one, but it was very businessy, whereas I felt like a very personal, like, this one and I could be friends, and I could be friends with the other one too. It's really hard to explain exactly what I mean. So I went ahead and weighed the pros and cons and waited out the 10 days. And then on the 11th day, so technically not the 10th day, on the 10th night, I did send a message to the first offering agent and said, I'm so sorry. My heart is saying to choose you, but my brain is saying to choose this other agent. So I'm so sorry. And she was extremely, I'm at a loss of words, extremely nice about it. Like, she was like, no worries, I'm cheering you on, blah, 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 and that kind of made me feel even worse, you know, and especially when I got the notification of, she had already sent the contracts, and I got the notification of that DocuSign form having been canceled. I'm like, ugh, did I make the right choice? I just don't know. So anyways, I went ahead and told the other one, yes, of course I choose you. And then I did not hear from her for like a day, basically. And I was like, oh no, what if she's like, wait, who is this again? And read my query or something. I was like, oh, I offered on that. Jeez, no. So I was having all kinds of freakouts. And then eventually she did get back to me and she was like, yay, I'll send you this and that and the other thing, and I'll send you the contract and all that stuff. So that's how I got my literary agent. But I kind of, skimmed over the hardest part, which is what most people watching this video are probably going through. If you are in the querying process, it's the endless deluge of rejections 5 times a day, every day, basically. Or I would go through phases where it'd be like almost a whole week would go by and I wouldn't get any yeses or partials or anything, or rejections, and then out of nowhere I get like 5 rejections. It's like, why are the agents all conspiring today to put me in a terrible mood? It does happen. So that's where I'm at right now. I'll make all kinds of videos about what other kinds of torment I'm going through, like this current state of torment I'm going through, where I've signed with my agent. Very excited to start working with her, but of course she's got her plate full with other stuff, so I've got to just sit around and wait until she's done doing her stuff with her other clients so that she can then read through my book all over again and make me a bazillion notes about edits, and yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now, but we'll talk about that some other time. Anyway, that's what this video is about, how I got my literary agent. It happened for me after just asking my partner. There were so many times where I was like, I'm clearly a terrible writer and I'm never going to get a literary agent, because even though I think my books are fine, clearly everybody else hates them, even though they're lying to me and saying, I really like this or that or the other thing. Sometimes I'd get feedback from agents and I'd be like, they're just lying, they hate it. If they like it so much, they should offer. But one of the agents that killed me that I really liked was like, I really, really, really like this. The problem is, I just literally signed this exact same specific genre and theme with a brand new debut writer, so I can't really take on the exact same thing again, right within such quick succession. I was like, darn it. I'm happy with the agent I have now, and anyways, looking forward to the future. So that's this video. It's gone on way too long, sorry about that. I hope that it is of some interest to some of you. Again, if you are in the querying trenches, I know your pain. I really know that pain, but it will happen for you eventually, I promise. But if you have any specific questions about things I accidentally skimmed over, let me know in the comments and I will get to them in the next video about this same kind of topic. See you guys then. Bye guys.